Good evening. The time is now 6:30, and we'll call this meeting of DeSoto ISD Board of Trustees to order. Item 1A calls for a welcome. I've just extended that welcome to you. 1B calls for an invocation from Pastor John DeYoung of Cross of Christ Lutheran Church. Item 1C calls for a pledge, and 1D, our mission statement, which will be read into our hearing tonight by Trustee Daniel. Let's stand for a word of prayer.
Giving honor to the superintendent, distinguished board members, and assembled guests, let us pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, since you have committed the care and nurture of our children in this board, our district, and our schools and administrators, teachers, and support personnel, therefore we ask your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. May these board members stand strong in conviction and righteousness and not be blown around by whims of society, media, and governmental emotional do-goodism, but rather may they thoughtfully consider and contemplate whatever is good and right for our district. Help them to engage in meaningful discussion, allow them to grow closer as a board, and nurture the bonds of education in our community. And as they make decisions that will affect the students, staff, faculty, parents, alumni, friends, and community, we pray that it would be for a positive manner, and that you would graciously enlighten those who make these decisions and policies in this meeting, and those who will speak, and those who have to implement the outcomes of this meeting. Let this board walk in the convictions and truth and godly righteousness, and trusting in you all the days of their lives, through Jesus Christ, your Son, our Lord, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Our mission statement: DeSoto ISD will prepare each student academically and socially to be a problem solver and productive citizen for the 21st century global society.
Thank you, Trustee Daniel, for reading our mission statement. Thank you to Pastor John DeYoung of the Cross of Christ Lutheran Church for leading us in our invocation today. I'm going to read into your hearing now the emergency statement. And we're going to ask those that if you're standing in front of the door, if you don't mind, if you could find some space. Otherwise, we do have some space here to my right, which would be straight ahead for you all to kind of stand so we don't have that door blocked. DeSoto ISD takes the safety of our students, employees, and guests very seriously. That includes each and every one of you with us here tonight. In emergency situations such as a fire, please exit the building using one of the marked exits unless directed otherwise. Should we experience inclement weather such as a tornado, we'll ask all guests to move quickly into the interior of the building, away from all doors and windows. We'll monitor the situation at all times, as well as coordinate with local emergency responders regarding when the situation has passed. Item 1F calls for us to establish a quorum. We do have a quorum with 6 board members present, so we are ready for action. Item 1G is our celebrations. Trustee Moncrief.
Student wins food truck design contest. DeSoto ISD and new child nutrition partner Chartwell's K through 12 are proud to announce DeSoto High School senior DeMarcus McDowell as the winner of the new food truck design contest, earning him an iPad and his winning design on the truck. Students use a template provided to submit digital entries for the contest. DeMarcus's entry included eagle eyes and the Eagle's kitchen theme with a cross knife and fork, as well as an eagle head with a chef hat. At this time, I would like to invite Chartwell's representatives to come up, as well as Mr. DeMarcus McDowell for a presentation.
Our name is Cartwell's. My name is Mike Leonard. I'm the regional director for Texas. This is Jeremy Shields. He's the resident district manager for Chartwell's here at DeSoto. And Chef Joe will be the resident chef for DeSoto. They will be here for Chartwell's at all times. They'll be at your disposal if you have any questions. At the end of the school year, we had a contest for the students at the high school to design a skin for our food truck that's going to be coming in. Chef Joe and show everyone. DeMarcus McDowell came up with the winning design for the food truck, and that's it right there. We're looking to have the truck rolled out by August 19th. It will be on site and we'll be visiting the schools. The students will be able to come to the food truck at different schools we'll be going to every day, and they can get a full meal at the truck. And for his winning design, we'd like to present him with an iPad and a copy of the poster with the design.
And before we disperse, are the parents of Mr. McDowell here in the audience? Did you want to come get a picture? Are you doing a picture with the mother? Are she doing a picture with him? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, she's done the picture. Struggle through it. Now we'll continue. Harris named Regional Superintendent of the Year. Region 10 Education Service Center announced the selection of Dr. David Harris of DeSoto ISD as the Regional Superintendent of the Year. Dr. Harris joins honorees from the state's 19 other regional education service centers as contenders for recognition as the Texas Superintendent of the Year. The state Superintendent of the Year Selection Committee will meet in August with their award to be presented later in the year. Coach honored. Congratulations to DeSoto High School's boys track coach Donald Miller, named the Texas Track and Field Coaches Association Boys High School Track Coach of the Year. After winning the state meet this year, he was also named the Area Coach of the Year. Miller just completed his 4th year as the head boys coach for DeSoto ISD. Eaglettes earned camp titles. The Eaglettes attended Halftime Entertainment Summer Camp, July 6th through 9th. At this summer camp, the DeSoto High School Eaglettes earned Most Spirited Team as well as Most Valuable Team. 10 members were selected and inducted into the Halftime Entertainment Summer Dance and Kick Academy the top honor at camp. With all officers earning the award, DeSoto became the first Platinum Award squad. Halftime Entertainment Dance and Kick Academy winners: Carmen Carey, Courtney Jones, Shania Boyd, Brooklyn Coleman, Tamia Daniels, Samaya Baker, Carolyn Jones, Mackenzie Patterson, Tasia Massenberg, and Micaiah Johnson. With their accomplishments, they have also earned the honor to travel to Honolulu, Hawaii, March 16th through the 21st of 2017 to perform as the opening dance act for the 2017 Honolulu Festival Parade of Bands. This performance will include 200+ other dancers from the state of Texas. The ladies will also attend additional events and exhibits at various venues, including the Hawaii Convention Center. Can the Eaglettes come forward? Are there any parents here as well? Since we have everybody.
Yeah, you hear? Yeah. Congratulations, ladies.
Congratulations, ladies.
We're proud of you.
Item 1H calls for, oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, getting ahead of ourselves. Yeah. 1H calls for special recognitions. Trustee Moncrief.
DeSoto ISD students compete in NAACP National ACT-SO competition. 3 DeSoto High School students, Marcus Daniels, Demaya Hammond King, and Keith Walker, and 1 recent graduate, Alexis Berry, competed in the NAACP National ACT-SO Afro-Academic Cultural, Technological, and Scientific Olympics competition in Cincinnati, Ohio, July 14th through the 18th of this year. This year, ACT-SO had over 650 students compete in 30 categories, including STEM, humanities, business, cultural arts or hospitality, and performing or visual arts. Keith Walker, Jr., in the poetry written competition. Alexis Berry, 2016 grad, who will be attending the Berklee College of Music in the fall, competed in the vocal contemporary section. Marcus Daniels, a junior, competed in the engineering section. Demaya Hammond King, a senior, competed in the poetry section. ACT-SO is a year-long achievement program designed to recruit, stimulate, and encourage high academic and cultural achievement among African American high school students. Over 300,000 young people have participated in the program since its inception. These students were judged by qualified experts, including celebrities and other distinguished individuals in their respective fields. Additionally, students were able to attend several master classes about their fields facilitated by these judges. The NAACP National AXO program has helped young people in communities across the country open new doors to learning and defined career paths since its inception 36 years ago. Please help us to congratulate these students for all their hard work and dedication. Are any of them here? Congratulations. Are any parents in attendance? Oh, yeah, they have certificates. Where did
Mr. Cannon, if you don't mind, you come forward, and we have certificates for our students. If you all don't mind making your way down front so we can present these with you as well. Congratulations, sir.
Just cool.
All right, thank you, Trustee Moncrief. Item 1I calls for a highlighted school, Frank Moats Elementary. Thank you to Moats. I see we have Moats' wonderful principal here in the building tonight. If we have any other faculty and staff from Moats Elementary, if you don't mind, stand and be recognized at this time. Thank you for all that you do, and we definitely look forward to welcoming our students back to a fresh coat of paint over there, right? Outside the building's looking good, so that was good to see. So thank you for everything that you do for children. Item 1J calls for citizens' participation. We have no cards tonight, and so there's no need for that, which brings us into our consent items. Item 2A under consent is 2015-2016 custodial contract for GCA services. Item 2B is a resolution to resell tax foreclosed property. And item 2C is minutes from the previous meetings. If there's no objection, we'll take these together. Seeing and hearing none, I'll take a motion if there be any from the board. As everyone's looking over the items that we'll be voting on under consent. Seeing and hearing no motion, I'll ask the board, is there an item or items we need to remove for separate consideration so we can get this moving?
I make a motion that we receive them as stated.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. We'll take those together. Would you like to make a motion to approve as presented? Thank you. We have a motion by Trustee Hall, the brave soul, to make a motion to approve as presented. Do we have another brave soul that will second that motion?
I second it.
Thank you, Trustee Daniel. We have a motion and a second to approve as presented. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right, that motion passes 4-2. Let it be noted, administration, and just for the community watching, as you all know, during our work session and retreat this past weekend, we had a lengthy discussion about our custodial services. We know they are entering the final year of their contract, and I don't believe we have a representative from GCA here tonight, which speaks volumes, as they want our business. This is last year of their contract. The reviews that we've received from the campuses, individual campuses, was not sterling, all right? There's much improvement, and we expect they step their game up for this last year of the contract. But we also expect Mr. Laborde in that department, as well as Mr. David Scott, that you guys go out for bids. And let's get some competitive bids in here. Let's make sure that our students, faculty, and staff have a clean building to go to, especially the restrooms. Especially. All right, so please relate that message to them. Thank you. Board, that brings us to item 3, which is our report items. Item 3A is June tax collections. We'll take 3A, 3B, and 3C together. 3B is June financials, and 3C credit card quarterly report. Dr. Harris.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. We have June's tax collections and June financials. We'll ask Mr. Laborde to go over that with you. The item C, credit card quarterly report, speaks for itself. Ms. Laborde, if you would review June tax collection and June financials, please.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Members of the board, as you said, the June tax collections, this will be our final report on June for the fiscal year of 2015-16. We're happy to report that our total budgeted tax collections for this June was 101%. Last June was 99%. Also, our benchmark of 98% of current year taxes collected is currently at 98.09. So that's positive, as well as the fact that we have to remember that the tax office will continue to collect current year taxes all the way through September when the new tax bills come out in October. So that 98.09% can only go up. So our current year taxes are doing very well. We've collected a lot of delinquent taxes, so we're in really good shape on our delinquents as well. So we're in fine shape on our tax collections, and very excited about the next year when we're looking at a 6.68. Our certified values come out today, and we're 6.68% increase in our certified taxable values over last year. So that will be a big boom also. As far as your financial report goes, once again, this is our final report until the audit report comes up. We're happy to report that, of course, you realize that our budgeted fund balance at the end of the fiscal year was $15.5 million. As things stand right now, considering what we were anticipating for our final collection on our revenues, we're looking at closer to $17 million for a fund balance at the end of this year. Of course, there'll be some changes on that with the audit coming in, and some of the revenues will go down, some of them will go up, and some of our expenditures. But right now, it's standing at approximately $17 million, which is a $6 million increase over last year's fund balance. The food service, we're going to end the year at a fund balance about what we had last year, which once again is going to necessitate our spending a significant amount of money out of our food service fund balance to maintain the TDA regulations of 3 months of operating expenditures. So what that's going to probably allow us to do is maybe redo another kitchen this next summer. So we'll be looking at meadows and anything else, if we can do meadows without having to sprinkle the building. We'll be looking at doing that, since that's what we were going to do 2 years ago. So we're going to have to spend that. And our debt service is, of course, went down by about $2 million, which was anticipated with the TRE and the tax swap, that we were going to start using our fund balance out of our debt service. So those are your financial reports for the month of June and your tax collections for the month of June. And if you just have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer those at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. LaBorde. Board, this is a standard report item. We'll entertain any questions, comments, or discussion at this time, if there be any. Dr. Harris.
And with Mr. LaBorde, and I want to say this too, since we do have several members of our community in the audience, and I really want to thank you for paying taxes. I mean, I just got to say it. You know, and I know you don't always get a thank you for paying taxes. But, you know, it makes a difference. You know, we were able to give our teachers a substantial raise this year. You know, we are still able to pay our health insurance for our teachers. And so it makes a difference, you know, when we all are good taxpayers. It makes a difference for our kids. And I think that's one of the things that we can certainly understand, that that's one area that, you know, our taxes go for a good cause. And that is educating our future, educating our kids. So I thank you for being good stewards, and I even thank you more for those who paid on time, but those who didn't pay it on time. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you so much, and we appreciate our community for just being good citizens here in DeSoto ISD. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank you for that comment, Dr. Harris. And we'd be remiss if we did not acknowledge the team that we work extremely closely with, and who has a direct hand in part of what we do here in the district as it relates to taxes and our property values, and that is our Mayor Pro Tem, Rachel Proctor, who's here, as well as our Councilwoman, Candace Quarles, who are with us tonight. So thank you for continuing to attract businesses to the city so that we can, once again, this year we lowered our tax rate again here as far as for the district. And so our commitment is to continue to look for ways to lower that tax rate, right, for our parents who invest in our community, and we'll continue to do so and be good stewards as we're putting another $2 million into the fund balance. So thank you, administration, for that, as we're able to not only take care of our teachers and raise salaries, but to also put funds back for a rainy day so we don't find ourselves in the same situation should the state legislator try to cut the budget again. All right. So we're on guard for that. So thank you so much for everyone that has a hand in that. Seeing no further comments, questions, or discussion, Board, that brings us to item 3D, which is our first reading of Update 105. Dr. Harris.
Yes, first reading Update 105. I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Levels, but for the first time, TASB has tried to be a little bit more entertaining than what they are in technology savvy, so they've actually given us a video. So Ms. Levels, do you have a lead in before we play the video?
It is exciting to be able to show the first video from TASB regarding the current update, the legal update. Typically, as you all know, they give us the handouts, and so I guess they're trying to move into the 21st century. So this year we have a video, so we will show the videos about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll entertain any questions. Should you have any?
Hi there, and thanks for listening to this quick Update 105 local policy overview provided by TASB Policy Service. Our goal for this overview is to mention the major events and issues that prompted recommendations for the local policies included in this update, and to let you know what those policies are. So let's get started. The major event that prompted changes to several policies is the passage of the Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA for short. This act reauthorizes the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. Although we will see policy and statutory changes resulting from ESSA for several years to come, the most immediate change is the repeal of the highly qualified requirement in terms of teacher qualifications. ESSA requires that teachers be licensed and certified by the state in which they teach. Several local policies are affected by this repeal in terminology, as you can see on the screen. DBA relates to credentials and records of employees. DFBB is related to non-renewal of term contract employees. And DFFA, DFFB, and DFFC, for districts that have this policy, relate to reductions in force. BJCF is related to non-renewal of superintendent contracts, and although not directly impacted by this repeal, there are recommendations included in Update 105 for this policy due to similar recommendations made to DFBB. The Every Student Succeeds Act also made changes to the previous requirement for a parental involvement policy by referring to it now as a parent and family engagement policy. Most districts' BQ local policies reference this former parental involvement policy at this code when addressing other improvement planning processes. So your district will likely see recommendations to revise BQ local. You'll also want to read more about the Parent and Family Engagement Policy at EHBD Legal on Title I programs. Within the Every Student Succeeds Act, similar to its predecessor No Child Left Behind, there is a comparability of services requirement, which essentially requires districts to ensure equity across the district and among its campuses. Those without an EHBD local, which addresses this Title I requirement, will likely see a recommendation to add a policy to capture the district's efforts on providing equitable services. Those districts who already had an existing policy at this code will see recommended revisions to more closely align with TEA's guidance on the reporting requirements. The Every Student Succeeds Act also made changes to the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, which addresses the educational requirements and expectations of schools to follow when students are experiencing homelessness. In this update, significant revisions are recommended to policy FDC local addressing homeless students, in light of the McKinney-Vento changes and also as a result of collaboration among Policy Service, TEA, and the Texas Homeless Education Office. Some recommendations unrelated to the Every Student Succeeds Act are on these last few slides. CLB Local, which addresses districts' integrated pest management programs, is recommended for revision based on updated rules from the Texas Department of Agriculture. Make sure to review the corresponding legal policy for more details on those state rule changes. Most districts will see a recommendation to add a policy at CLE Local addressing flag displays. Effective with the 2016-17 school year, statute requires boards to ensure that flags are displayed in classrooms to which students are assigned at the time the pledges are recited. A few districts will see a recommendation to edit an already existing policy at this code. In an effort to develop a local policy that would comply with the expectations and requirements of the Texas State Library and Archives Commission when districts submit their records management policies to the Commission, are significant revisions recommended for policy CPC local. Policy Service worked closely with the Commission when developing these recommendations. Finally, those districts that have current requirements listed in policy DBB local addressing medical exams and communicable diseases for employees to show evidence of tuberculosis testing will see recommendations to remove this requirement from the policy. Generally, the CDC and the Texas Department of State Health Services no longer recommend testing all new employees. Of course, it's important to follow the guidance from your local health department in screening for any health issues. So that was a very quick overview of the local policies included in Update 105. As always, please feel free to give us a call with any questions or look us up on the web at the address on the slide. Thanks so much for joining us.
And this is a first read, so this is an opportunity for board members to review each of the policies. As you can see, indicated in each policy, the red strike through indicates that those are the words that will be removed, and the blue writing indicates that will be the new words replacing those strike throughs. There's only one new policy this time, which is CLE, which is regarding the having the flags displayed in every classroom. And so we are currently creating an inventory to ensure that all of our classrooms have a flag in the classroom that wherever they are actually reciting the pledge. And we believe that we're probably 98, 99% in compliance with that, but we'll make sure that we have it in all classrooms. But I'll entertain any questions if there are any.
All right, thank you, Ms. Levels. I think TASB was playing fast and loose with the term video, more like. But board, we have had this for a few days to review. As was noted, you have all the strike-throughs as well as additions. They're highlighted for us for review. This is the first reading of it, so we will be prepared to take action, preferably at our next board meeting. But are there any questions or comments for Ms. Levels? Trustee Moncrief.
Ms. Levels, it's quite telling that the last act had to have a provision that said ensuring that there were highly qualified teachers in place.
Yes.
So now that ESSA has removed the training wheels,
Correct.
and everybody's going to be riding on their own, is that still going to be something that we're going to be assuring our parents, that we're still going to continue to have the best qualified, most highly qualified individuals that we can get in the classroom in front of the children?
Well, that doesn't change the state requirements for certification, but under the leadership of Dr. Harris, he has already given us principals and staffing to ensure that we put the best qualified person in front of students in all positions, be it a teacher, an administrator, or whatever that position is. And so just because that highly qualified has been removed from our policy doesn't mean it hasn't been removed from our practice. We have teacher match here in the district to give us additional data when we're selecting teachers, as they have demonstrated through the committee interviews and the panel interviews, an actual demonstration lesson. But in addition to that, we also have a teacher match to determine their effectiveness here in our district. And so we have additional data we can utilize. So highly qualified may be removed from the federal law, but we still practice seeking highly qualified individuals for all open positions.
Okay. I just didn't want the public perception to be that, you know, we're not going to continue to seek high
The state law
standards.
still requires the teachers are certified, and so we that's the foundation in which we begin seeking candidates. That's the minimum, is to have a certified teacher.
Thank you.
Trustee Daniel.
Is the wording on the policy that's printed in black, is that our wording or is that TASB's wording?
The only new wording in black is CLE. And that's the one it didn't have any strike throughs, any red or blue. That's a completely new policy. All the other policies are the wordings from the district that was previously came from TASB.
Okay, I would like to propose a change in wording on page 43.
Give me the policy.
43. Superintendent non-renewal.
Yes.
Page 43, number 11.
Yes.
Number 11 says, failure to report to the board any arrest, indictment, conviction, no contest, guilty plea, or other adjudication for any felony, any crime involving moral turpitude, any other offense. It sounds to me, by leaving that failure to report, that as long as he doesn't report, that it's okay for him to do those things. So if we could just take out the failure to report.
No, if you listen, it said these are reasons for non-renewal. Right. So if he fails to report, that's a reason for non-renewal.
I know, I understand that, but it sounds like as long as he doesn't report and we don't find out about it, it's okay.
Well, the board always reserves the right to non-renew the superintendent, regardless as to any legal incident he might get into. So we would not be, our hands wouldn't be tied if he did report it to us. It would still, you know.
I know, but it just sounds.
This is direct
from an English teacher's standpoint, it would
This is direct
sound
from
better.
TASB. This is from
just to
TASB.
take out the failure to report part.
This is direct from TASB. What I'll do is I'll ask for
That's what I
clarification.
was asking.
No, yeah, this is directly from TASB. This was the original pre-printed policy. The only difference is the reason you have the red and the blue is so that
I
you can
understand
distinguish
that part.
from
I
that from
understand
today.
that quite
We didn't
well.
write this. No, this is not written by DeSoto ISD. This is written by TASB. What I can do is I can ask for clarification for it to read.
Please do, because that was my original question. Was it our wording or was it their wording?
And this was our original policy, but the original policies were
wasn't
all
my
written from
question.
TASB. I'm sorry if I misunderstood your question.
I just think it would be nice if TASB would clarify that a little bit.
This is directly from TASB. All of our policies are written by TASB. But we can certainly seek clarification so that we can make sure we're on the same page with that.
And we, as we're
Definitely.
aware, TASB has a team of lawyers. They pour over this every year. This goes out to every district. But if you would, just as DeSoto has always done, we want to make sure that we are on the side of
Absolutely.
caution.
Not a problem.
Please just send that question off to them, and then if you don't mind, provide that response to the board.
We'll get to you this week, no problem.
Thank you so much. Trustee Moncrief.
I'm always hesitant when we go changing up language where we have an absolute such a shall at the beginning of the paragraph, starting with reasons where it says reasons for the non-renewal of the superintendent's contract shall be. And if you go down to 11, failure to report to the board, the shall is absolute. I mean, that's in the law, shall is shall. It's got to be done. So the shall coupled with that language is absolute. It's saying if you fail to do these things, you can be fired. So I'm concerned that any dithering around with shall, that absolute language, will result in the unintended consequence of what my colleague here is trying to get to. So I just say we tread cautiously and make sure shall.
And right, and keep once again, just send the question off. Board, let's keep in mind that this is a recommendation sent to us by an agency that does work with districts without the state. And keep in mind, when you look at a document like this, we can decide to terminate the superintendent's contract at any time. But then when you talk about if you're paying them out, if you talk about things of that nature, that's where policies like this come into play. So I don't want anyone to think that our hands are tied. And we do have the superintendent of the year for Region 10, might I add. So I don't think that if we decide to fire the superintendent of the year, just for those that have just joined us, right, and think there's something going on, superintendent of the year, Dr. David C. Harris, we wouldn't be, our hands wouldn't be tied. We still have the autonomy to make that decision as a board. But we will, Ms. Levels, if you don't mind, send those off and we'll get those back. Any further questions, comments, or discussion for this first reading? And then we will have the second reading next month at our next regular board meeting. Seeing and hearing no one else, board, that brings us over to item 3E, which is employments, resignations, retirements. Dr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. President, this is a standard report. I would report to the board, though, that we are way ahead of our schedule of having all certified teachers in our classroom, way ahead of schedule. Dr. Phillips, would you like to add anything as far as the progress that's being made in HR of ensuring that we continue to whittle down those numbers?
Sure, Dr. Harris. Mr. President, board members, pleasure seeing you guys this evening. Just a quick update. We're down to one page, probably about 20, 25 teachers and paras and auxiliary workers included in that one-page document. HR has been working tirelessly to make sure that one of the goals that you set out before us, that we have a fully hired staff by the beginning of school. We are working very diligently to make sure that happens for us.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. Board, this is a standard report item. Entertain questions, comments, discussion at this time if there be any. Trustee Gold.
Yes, I guess I just don't know exactly how this process works yet, but we have an employee who has been employed in the district for 3 years. They've been transferred to another campus. They're still a probationary employee. Can you explain that?
Well, policy allows the district or administrators to keep teachers on probationary contracts if need be. If we realize that the teacher is not ready for a term contract, then we can extend that probationary contract. I'm not real sure which one you're referencing in this situation.
And we can't reference them by name in open session. So I think we're clear there. We could, though, however, offline, if you have a specific concern about that one individual, then we can speak to that in detail later in executive session tonight, or you all can meet and exchange email, however you want to communicate to answer that specific individual.
And I just want to, can I say
Yes,
something
yes,
else?
ma'am.
Something else that I think I counted 8, I'm not sure, I have to go back and count again, 8 contracts that were given on and all of those employees are probationary. 8 probationary contracts were given. I think that's high. I'll just say that. I think that's a lot of employees that we hired that are not certified to teach.
Well, understand that probationary contracts, Ms. Gold, does not say that they are not certified to teach in that particular area. It just means that they are within that time frame where we are not ready to give them a term contract at this time.
Okay, so they are certified to teach in that subject area.
I don't know exactly who you're referring to specifically, but that's been our goal, that we have not hired anyone that has not been highly qualified, with using the old language, but certified to teach in that particular area.
Okay.
And we definitely have time for further conversation, so we can get into the specifics of those individuals' names. I will say, administration, Dr. Phillips, that I think this board can be thoroughly pleased with where we are in the hiring process. This has been an aim of this board, that we fill these positions as early and as soon as possible. And so we kind of know how it is to wait last minute. And so we thank you all for starting in the spring with those positions that we felt would be coming available, starting your hiring process then and continuing it on. And board, I want to give us strong words of encouragement as it relates to the Teacher Match program, and that we have districts around us who are still looking to hire far more employees than we are. And we are well ahead of our surrounding districts, but we also have the Teacher Match program, which ensures that we're getting quality candidates based on qualifications set out by administration. So thank you so much for that, and continue to bring us reports such as this, and make sure that we answer Trustees Gold's questions thoroughly that she might have. Seeing and hearing no further questions, comments, or discussion, board, and brings us to our action items. Item 4A calls for iSteam 3D furniture purchase for the Meadows and High School. Dr. Harris.
Implementation of the iSteam 3D project, the Meadows and the freshman campus of DeSoto High School planned for the new school year. Both of these projects require furniture to accomplish the needed flexibility of project-based learning. The additional furniture has been selected by the principal and the staff at each campus from Smith Systems through School Specialty. This is the same vendor which did the furniture at the middle school iSteam 3D projects. The furniture selected will cost in excess of $110,000. Price increases have occurred since the middle school program was started. School Specialty sells to us on the TCPN co-op bid, thereby taking care of all the Texas bid requirements. Funds for the furniture will come from the I-3 grant under Ms. Blackburn's Investment and Innovation Program. It will be the charge of the grant's furniture and equipment budget. It is my recommendation, Mr. President, Board, approval of School Specialty to provide furniture for the iSteam 3D project at the Meadows Elementary and the freshman campus of DeSoto High School not to exceed an estimated cost of $125,000.
Thank you, Board. You've heard the recommendation of Dr. Harris, and this will be paid out of grant funds. Just want to stress that point, grant funds, grant funds. We'll entertain a motion from the Board right now if there be any.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Trustee Hooper, second by Trustee Moncrief, to approve as presented. Any questions, comments, or discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries 6-0. Item 4B calls for the nomination of TASB Director. Board, you received a letter from Mr. Ty Jones, who's the school board president in Lancaster ISD, as he is in the running for TASB Director in our area, in our region, to represent us. To date, we have not received any formal request for endorsement from any other candidate for this office. And so, Board, you have the recommendation there to nominate or for us to endorse Mr. Ty Jones, who once again is the school board president in Lancaster, school board president of the board that received School Board of the Year. And so we'll entertain a motion if there be any from the board at this time.
Mr. President, I move that the DeSoto ISD Board of Trustees endorse the candidacy of Mr. Ty Jones for TASB Director.
We have a motion by Trustee Hooper. Is there a second?
I second.
We have a second by Trustee Moncrief. Any questions, comments, discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That carries 6-0. Board, that brings us to our item 4. Gotcha. Board, if you don't mind, if there's no objection, we are going to pass item 4C and we'll go to 5, which is discussion, as we do have a city official, or a city employee here to make a presentation. If there's no objection, we'll move to item 5A. Seeing and hearing none, 5A calls for water tower discussion from Mr. Tom Johnson, City of DeSoto. Definitely good to see you, Mr. Johnson, on our turf. We normally see you at the City Hall, but welcome, and I look forward to hearing from you tonight, sir.
Good to be here. I'm a little hoarse this morning, so I apologize for my voice a little bit. I do have a PowerPoint. Is there a way to quickly put that on the screen? Now, this project here, we were asked to consider a logo, a new championship logo for the school on one of the water towers. And Ms. Lavetta Levels and I kind of worked through things. And it's one of those projects that kind of evolves, and you get more information, and it gets a little bit more, the scope of work increases. So I'm going to try to walk you through kind of what we've been doing. First thing is we got a preliminary schematic of what the championship logo would look like, and it'll be on one of those slides. Then we took that logo and we contacted several contractors who paint water towers, and there was also, I guess, there was a request on the school district that they wanted this logo on the north side of the Parks Tower, so when you're driving down Beltline Road, you can see it. Yeah, go ahead. There's the tower, and that's the view of the tower from Beltline Road. And you can see on this 1.5 million gallon tank, it's round, and it's already got logos on both sides. It's got our DeSoto logo. It's also got our All-America City logo. So when I looked at the championship logo and how big it is, and it's going to get bigger too, I know. it really didn't fit without having to consider removing our logos. And so there it all starts. I brought over a contractor who actually did Cedar Hills Water Tower. And he was at the tower, and he said, you can paint this hot water tower 3 times, and it will not get rid of the blue, and it will not get rid of the red. It really becomes a whole sandblasting project. So now you're talking about a total repainting of the tower. So what I did was I ended up taking a look at some other options, and presented that to our city council at our retreat. I think what I sensed from them was a true partnership. They want to do whatever they can for the logo to go on a tower. There are 3 options that they have presented, would like for me to present to you. And the first option is by fiscal year 20, we'll have a new tower placed in the industrial park right off the highway. Much like if you're driving down 35 and you see Red Oaks Tower, it's the same tower almost. It's a 1 million gallon tower. It's got a nice good canvas that you can really put a logo there. And when we build that tower by fiscal year 20, the city would go ahead and pay for your logo to go on it, because we're gonna put a logo on it anyway. So there's no cost to you for that. The other thing is the paint job on Parks Tower. It's about 10 years old, so we got another 5 to 7 years of life on that paint job. And when we repaint a tower, we do the inside, we do the outside, and then we do the logos. So if you wanted Parks Tower, the other recommendation is to wait 5 to 7 years. When we repaint that tower, we'll put your logo there. And then the other option, which are probably not too popular, was you guys pay to sandblast the tower and everything, and that becomes $1 million project, which is ridiculous. So there is a partnership there between the city and the school. But those are, if you can slide, that was the logo, and that's that's a rough draft. Talking to Lavetta, the biggest thing we want to make sure we highlight are the championship years. And even in that scale there, the championship years are only 12 inches high. And the contractor was telling me that they really need to be 24 to 36 inches high for you to see them. So that whole thing is going to blow up. You're going to need a lot more room. Okay, please, next slide. I went through this already. This is typical stuff. We can't paint during the summer. It would have to be in the fall. And I went through the years on the life of the tower. Next picture. That's the way the tank will look like in the industrial park when we build it. And that's actually a shot of Briarwood. Briarwood's a little bit bigger tower, but that's the same construction we'll use. And then we already have our location, and it's off of Center Park Boulevard. And the highway is elevated in that area. The tower will be about 130 feet tall. Those buildings that you see around there are only like 40 feet tall, so you should be able to see the bowl really clear from the highway. And those were the 3 options I mentioned earlier. So that concludes my presentation. And I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you so much. Mr. Johnson, really quick, can we go back one slide? Just at the, let's see, I see Century Park Boulevard, right? And 35, that is the Hampton Inn.
Mm-hmm.
And then the development that's going just to the south of that, how many stories is that going to be?
I think it's a home to suites hotel. I think it's 4, but it sits down in the creek. So it's not in the creek.
Right.
It's next to the creek.
Right. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, board. We spoke about this at the retreat, and we're definitely appreciative of the partnership. When the first option came, they had to tell us to hold on, there's more, because we all almost fell out our seats when they said $1 million, right? So we're just appreciative, once again, Mr. Johnson, for coming over tonight, being with us, Councilwoman Quarles, as well as Mayor Pro Tem Proctor, for your partnership and willing to go this endeavor with us. Board, are there any questions or comments, discussion for Mr. Johnson? Trustee Hall.
I'm hard of hearing, so make sure, did you say 2020 is when it will be built or when it will be finished? Or
The tower in the industrial park it'll be done in 2020. We'll start it in 2019.
So you're talking about less than 3 years then?
Yeah, it's coming up in our CIP. That's why it's in those years. It takes about a year and a half to build these water towers.
Okay.
And so it's already designed, ready to go. So.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. As you see, we're not in the business of water towers, so we take your advice and discernment seriously. So thank you so much. And if you don't mind, you all relay that message to Mayor McCowan, as we know that she really pushed for this, and so we definitely appreciate her partnership as well. Board, that brings us to item 4C. Brings us back to item 4C, which is personnel recommendations. We do have a few recommendations that will be made tonight, and so we're going to go into executive session on the personnel matters, which is 551.074. The time is now 7:30, and we will go into executive session at this time. All right, the time is now 9:29, which makes us 1 minute short of 2 hours in executive session. We've been in executive session under 551.074 personnel matters. We do at this time, Dr. Harris, I understand you have a recommendation for the board for consideration.
Yes, Mr. President, Board, I'd like to make a recommendation for the next principal of DeSoto High School. That individual comes in the name of Ms. Arista Owens McGowan. Ms. McGowan is starting her 19th year in education. She received a Bachelor's of Science in Chemistry from the University of Oklahoma. She taught 4 years in the Science Department at Duncanville High School while obtaining her Master's of Education in Teaching and Principal Certification from the University of Texas at Arlington. After obtaining her graduate degree and certification, she obtained a position of on the administrative team, still at Duncanville High School, as Dean of Students, then as Assistant Principal, and moving on to the Associate Principal of Duncanville High School. After being in Duncanville ISD for several years, she decided to join the DeSoto ISD family. She began her journey as a member of the Eagle family, serving as an administrator at DeSoto High School, Amber Terrace, and the principal at Cocker Hill Elementary School. Ms. Owens McGowan has 2 wonderful sons and a husband of more than 20 years. She looks forward to her next endeavor here at DeSoto ISD as the next principal of DeSoto High School. And it's with great pleasure, Mr. President and Board, that I recommend Ms. Arista Owens McGowan for DeSoto High School principal.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Hooper.
I move that we approve the recommendation of Ms. Arista Owens McGowan as the next principal of DeSoto High School.
We have a motion by Trustee Hooper. Is there a second?
I second it.
We have a motion by Trustee Hooper, a second by Trustee Gold to approve the recommendation of Superintendent. Any comments, discussion? Seeing and hearing none, call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion carries 6-0. Congratulations.
With all these church members here, I thought we were going to break out in hymn. Guide me, O thy great Jehovah. I'm not going to do you want to do that?
You want to have her say a word?
I don't think so.
That's your high school person.
Okay. Let's go get them all, and then we'll come back. Okay.
All right, Dr. Harris, is there another recommendation for the board to consider?
Yes, sir, Mr. Board President, with the vacancy at Cocker Hill Elementary School, it is now that we must recommend a principal for Cocker Hill Elementary School. That individual comes in the name of Miss Letha Harper. Ms. Harper has been in education for over 15 years. She began her education career with Garland ISD as a social studies teacher at North Garland High School in 2001. In 2006, she moved into leadership position in Garland ISD, serving as an assistant principal for 6 years at North Garland High School. In order to diversify educational experience, she served 2.5 years as assistant principal at DeSoto Freshman Campus, DeSoto High School, and a semester at DeSoto East Middle School. Ms. Harper is firm, fair, and flexible. She believes it's important to stand firm on your beliefs for all student success and that the necessary norms for effective functioning of an education institution are implemented daily. She also deeply believes that it's imperative to be fair in the treatment of everyone and being flexible for the ability of meeting the needs of all those involved in the academic success of students. Ms. Harper has earned a reputation of being strong and energetic leader who can move both students and staff to higher levels of performance. She's also known to be approachable, sincere, and a visible leader. Ms. Harper's philosophy has been that all children can learn regardless of background when they are given the positive learning environment that encourages exploration, enhances student development, and promotes student achievement. Her motto is that after you put your hands on a child, they should experience some type of growth by the time you finish walking with them through the school year. Ms. Harper earned her bachelor's degree from Jarvis Christian College and a master's degree in education administration from Prairie View A&M University. She is married to Mr. Tony Harper, and they have 3 beautiful daughters, Tony, Tyler, and Trinity. Mr. President, I recommend Ms. Letha Harper as the next principal at Cocker Hill Elementary School.
Thank you, Dr. Harris.
Mr. President.
Board, you've heard the recommendation as superintendent. Entertain a question. Trustee Hooper.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the recommendation of Ms. Letha Harper as the next principal of Cocker Hill Elementary.
I second it.
Board, we have a motion to approve by Trustee Hooper, a second by Trustee Moncrief. Any comments, discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. That motion carries 6-0. Congratulations.
They all go to the same church or something? Well, they cheered for. I know. Oh, that's a church. Oh, well, they must be some good. I don't know.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Board, Dr. Harris, is there another recommendation for the board to consider?
Yes, Mr. President, Board, for the next principal at West Middle School, I would like to recommend Mr. James McBride. Mr. McBride has been involved in education for over 22 years. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics from Jarvis Christian College, a Master of Education degree in Curriculum and Instruction from Midwestern State University, and a Master of Arts degree in Urban Affairs with an emphasis in social policy from the University of Texas at Arlington. Mr. McBride holds a professional education certification in education leadership, secondary math, and ESL mathematical instruction. Mr. McBride taught various mathematical courses at Ryder High School and Kirby Math Science Technology Magnets in Wichita Falls, Texas. He subsequently became the assistant principal at Kirby Math Science Technology Magnet and McNeil Global Communication Magnet. During his tenure, both schools received superior academic ratings from TEA. After serving 9 years as assistant principal, he's appointed to the role of instruction leader at McNeil Global Communication Magnet. His most recent position in administration was with DeSoto ISD, where he held the position of District K-12 Mathematics Supervisor for 2 years. He is frequently called the math guy, as he continues his focus on achieving academic success for every student. Mr. McBride believes that all children can learn and that the unique challenge of public education is balancing the different ways and rates in which students learn with state accountability and local policy. He contends that keeping a positive and safe atmosphere is a foundation for success, as well as having open lines of communication with all stakeholders. Mr. McBride feels that through a collective concentration of 4 pillars of excellent instruction, engagement, rigorous content, ownership of learning, and relevance is a unique way to a school can be successful in assisting children in attaining their full potential. His motto is, "To whom much is given, much is expected." He is looking forward to continuing good works as an instructional leader of DeSoto West Middle School, and it is his great pleasure to serve, his desire to serve as the principal of DeSoto West Middle School. Mr. President, I recommend Mr. James McBride as the next principal of West Middle School.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Board, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. I'll entertain a motion if there be any from the board.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the superintendent's recommendation of Mr. James McBride as the new principal of West Middle School.
Second.
I have a motion by Trustee Moncrief, a second by Trustee Hooper to approve the recommendation of the superintendent. Any questions, discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And motion carries 6-0. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Dr. Harris, I do understand that you want to acknowledge another hire to our administrative team. Dr. Harris.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. And while I'm preparing to do that, I'm going to ask Ms. McGowan if you would also prepare. We'd like for you to address the crowd before we dismiss tonight. So you can be preparing a very brief speech. Just giving you a heads up. Also, would the family of Mr. McBride please stand? Mr. McBride, would you have you and your family please stand? Ms. Harper, your family please stand as well, if your family is here. Are they still here? Okay. All right. And Ms. McGowan, would your family please stand as well? Last, Mr. President, we'd also like to recognize, because we're always looking for talent here in DeSoto ISD, so I would like to acknowledge the next assistant principal at Ruby Young Elementary. That individual comes in as the name of DeAndre Flemings. DeAndrea Flemings.
Fleming with no S.
Fleming. Ms. Fleming is a 15-year educator who serves as a math instructor, department chair, instructional coach, assistant principal, and professional learning specialist for teacher and administrative learning. Her experience of service includes Dallas ISD, Duncanville ISD, and she is presently coming from Fort Worth ISD. She is a DeSoto resident with 2 children.
I get excited about DeSoto resident. I'm sorry.
She attended the University of Houston, Texas A&M University Commerce in her MS, Prairie View A&M University Master's in Education Administration, and is currently pursuing a doctorate in Education Leadership from Dallas Baptist University. Mr. President, I'd like to recognize Ms. Fleming. Ms. Fleming. Mr. President, I'd also like to just recognize these brave souls who stood through a couple of hours of beloved church members and loved ones that really stayed, that really tested. So thank y'all for being here tonight and showing your support for the individuals that was recognized here tonight. I think it's worth noting that you didn't only just cheer for your church member, but you cheered for everyone. Thank you guys very much for that.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Harris. I know that we want to hear from the new principal at our flagship. We did spend a lot of time back there because the hires, and these in particular, were very crucial, very important, and we trust their abilities, as is evident in the vote cast tonight. And so we definitely want to hear from our principal at the flagship. There are a lot of opportunities there, and so Ms. McGowan, if you don't mind, come on down. As you have officially become the face of DeSoto High School.
Well, thank you very much, very much. Hopefully I'll see all of y'all faces come on to DeSoto High School and join in. Since you are a part of the community, I welcome you tonight to come to DeSoto High School and help in any way that you can. As an educator, I think it's always our goal that we want to make sure that our students are always successful in some capacity, that our students are successful. As I think Dr. Harris read about Ms. Harper, and she said that there's no way you shouldn't put your hands on a student at the beginning of the year and not help them achieve something by the end of the year. So as the principal at DeSoto High School, that's my goal. That's going to be my goal, to make sure that every student that walks through that door receives an excellent education in a safe and orderly environment, and that when they leave at the end of that school year, they have achieved something. They have achieved something that they can move on to the next years of their life and into society, because that's our goal at the high school, is to make sure they are productive citizens. And so we have to guide them in the right direction to make sure that when we get old, that we have some people that can take care of us. And so it takes a village. It takes a village. I strongly believe in that. It takes a village. So I am just, asking from everyone in the community to be positive, be supportive of everything that goes on at DeSoto High School. The high school is great now, but we're going to make it even better. It's going to be even better. So congratulations to everyone here tonight that is going to be in a different administrative role. And thank you all, too, for your support, because we know it does take family, community, church folks to support us. I told Ms. Harper, them your people out there. But thank you so much. And, just as I said, as the new principal at DeSoto High School, you can rest assured that students will be learning and students will be getting better day by day. So thank you.
Candidates, please do not leave. As soon as we are dismissed, we would like to take some pictures with you and your families. Thank you.
And also, could Ms. Fleming's family please stand up and be recognized?
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you, administration, for those recommendations tonight. We can definitely tell that the candidates you guys present to us tonight are strong, extremely strong, and we expect immediate impact on those campuses. So thank you for bringing us some quality candidates, and we definitely appreciate that and look forward to hearing the good news on their respective campuses. Board, after that, item 4C, personnel recommendations, that brings us to 7, which is our board comments. We have been out of session for a while, so I can't remember which way we started last time, but we will start with ladies first. To my left, I'm sorry, Ms. Gold, with Trustee Gold.
It's been a long summer, but maybe not long enough for some of us, I guess. But the best thing that happened is I have attended a couple of different trainings. I think I now have a grip on what a school board member does. I probably should have known that before I ran for school board, but it's better to know, I guess, later than it is to never know. But anyway, the training's been very educational. I think we're looking forward to a very, very good, strong year at DeSoto.
Thank you, Trustee Gold. Trustee Dane.
I enjoyed the Summer Leadership Institute in Fort Worth, the TASB Leadership. I learned a lot. I have some good ideas for the coming years. And also, I want to put in a plug for the Young Women's Project that I've started working on this summer. I think that's going to be very good for our girls.
Trustee Moncrief.
I want to thank Ms. Renee Thomas for spearheading that Young Women's Leadership Project. It's coming together really well. I think all of us female trustees are involved. Other thing, I want to thank the administration again for putting on a great summer of programs, offerings for things for the kids to do in the district. Again, we use the summer camp for the third year in a row. My children absolutely enjoy going, and you can't beat the price, folks. And welcome to all of our new principals. I'm so excited for all of you. Mr. Oliver, I see you over there. We're going to talk soon. But again, just welcome to everyone.
Thank you, Trustee Moncrief. Trustee Hall.
My comment is this: summer is short, teachers, administrators, and superintendent, but you have a new year coming up, and I believe it's going to be a great year. We appreciate everything you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Hall. Trustee Hooper.
I too got a chance to go to the Summer Leadership Institute with TASB. It's always refreshing to see, a lot of the innovative things that are happening in other districts across the state, and to take those positive things and see how we can apply those here. In addition to that, I had the unique opportunity to travel with the students who participated in the NAACP AXO competition. And when I tell you that our kids are extremely talented, and they had an opportunity to compete with students from across the country. And as always, our kids do not disappoint in terms of showing off their talents and their skills. And so, we recognized them earlier, but I definitely want to congratulate them again as we try to provide opportunities to expose our kids to not just think that their competition is Lancaster or Duncanville or even schools in the Dallas Metroplex, but to understand that they are truly competing with students across the country as well as in other countries. And so when we aim to prepare them to compete globally, that's something that we take to heart. Again, I want to also congratulate our new instructional leaders at the different campuses. And so the board president made it a point to acknowledge that we were almost in executive session for almost 2 hours. And part of that is because we understand the importance of selecting a principal, because that is the person that's going to be chiefly responsible for making sure that your students get everything that we promised them and everything that you expect for them to receive. And so I'm sure if you have conversations with them, they'll tell you this was probably one of the most grueling interview processes. But I'm glad that, as you see, this board has the full confidence in these candidates. And this is not a job that any of us take lightly, and we appreciate the fact that you allow us as a school district to serve your students. And so, again, we thank you. Dr. Harris, thank you for paying taxes earlier. I want to thank you for allowing us to educate your children.
Thank you, Trustee Hooper. For a minute, I thought you had some Oscars music or something going. Dr. Harris. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just very briefly, I also don't want to just bypass that Mr. Labour's report that, we're extending our fund balance to a little bit over $17 million. Mm-hmm. That is quite a feat from where we started from. And let me just tell you why that's so important. Ms. Moncrief mentioned it, that this summer, I think we serviced over 4,000. just under 3,000 students this summer participated in some type of summer program. That's significant, keeping our students busy during the summer, keeping them involved in the summer, and our goal is to increase that more, because that benefits our community, it benefits our kids. And basically all we're doing is reinvesting into our community what you give to us, and we're reinvesting into your kids. So to be sitting at a point where we can say that we have a fund balance of $17 million is very significant for a district our size, and we're hoping that it continues to grow. The other part that he mentioned was that our taxable value went up 6.68. That's once again really, really significant, ladies and gentlemen, that that our community continues to grow. We continue to be able to invest. People want to invest in DeSoto ISD, and home values are going up. Once again, very, very significant for our district, and I mean those numbers are important. So I thank Ms. LeBoer and I thank our team for working really hard to be able to try and put together a program for our student, a program for our community that helps our kids come back to DeSoto, be involved in DeSoto ISD as we continue to grow, and we grow together. So thank you very much. Thank you, parents, once again. Thank you to our team for what they do, and thank our students for being attentive to what we're trying to do for them. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Just an announcement. Community involvement, right? August 8th is our 8th annual back to school. August 6th is our back to school drive, in which we give shots, fair shots. I believe we have backpacks, some supplies. They can register online for that, correct? Okay, register online, on-site registration, that's from 9 to noon, so definitely tell a friend about that. We look forward to convocation on August 10th, coming up right around the corner as well. And we definitely want to thank our creator for allowing us to have a relatively quiet summer. We haven't lost any students, we haven't lost any teachers, faculty, and so we want to thank our creator for blessing DeSoto ISD in a way that only he can do. And so tonight, it is 9:55, and we will call this meeting adjourned.